Hello there, my name is Rachel. The first time seeing my channel, I used to review cartoon series, anime series, or something, computer random, and today we'll talk about a cartoon theory of the rankings of Black Cat. If you don't know what I mean, that in the Diary of Dementia, they do explain they actually have sort of rankings of what type of hats you actually wear and what is sort of a benefits wearing this type of hat inside the Villainous organization. And I feel that's sort of fascinating because nobody really wonders how you get promoted in the organization. It's something that nobody knew had a ranking system, so it's something that's sort of unique and refreshing. Now, the book started with narration of Dr. Flux saying the first time he saw a hat of Black Hat organization when he was in school with Villainy. And it's something is sort of interesting because each hat has sort of a purpose or a meaning of that status. But it makes things more interesting when he actually graduated. More of the hats and symbols started showing up in the real world. A lot of things that you don't realize how big an influence Black Hat really has. Okay, now start to break out the system of each ranking. There are a total of 5 rankings. The first ranking is what basically is no hats. This is meaning that a customer or villain who does not have a hat doesn't mean you not inside the organization. Of course, you don't have the same benefit with other higher ranking hats, but you do allow to see all the sort of side things like the orientation of all the videos. You can buy some of the equipment, but you're not allowed to have henchmen or any else benefits what organization Black Hat has to give you. You're just there to basically prove yourself you can be a better villain. And that's basically what it means, that you basically say you has potential, but you have to basically show us. That's sort of how I interpret it, because how the meaning is sort of vague. But that next to the next ranking, candidates for the hat. Now this ranking, or you're above of people who have no hat. This ranking states that you are now sort of proven, but you still need 1 or 2 more tests to be 100% confirmed you earn a hat. In other words, you are basically on standby. But it's something that is sort of interesting of this sort of high ranking, that you still have the same benefits of the first ranking, but you also have the sort of question mark that the organization doesn't trust you because they have a problem of some splinter cells joining in the organization. When I mean splinter cells, I mean sort of double agents that have sort of issue of that, but they usually get rid of it. Under that, I think the most fascinating thing about this is sort of the image they show with people who are basically in waiting. That the image they use is basically Mondanel, the most infamous character in all Villainy show. That sort of gives us a lot of questions, because this means Mondanel is alive, they joined the organization, or it's just sort of a example what happens to anyone who is trying to join. It just be always stay in that sort of spot because they're still exerting them. Honestly, I don't know. But that next go to the next ranking called the Cap. Now the Cap is basically the people who finally join the Black Hat, who are basically accepted inside the organization, but that's meaning that you're still very low ranking. Of course, something is interesting about this Cap, that is usually people who are basically freelancers who never went to school of villainy get this hat, or you are a school of villainy and graduated, you're allowed to have this Cap to understand you sort of level in organization. And basically that's it. There's really not much to talk about. Now to the next ranking, Barretts. Wearing this hat now allows you to have basically henchmen, allow you to do contraband or a little more higher kind of villainy, but once more still has sort of limit, but you still have more power and you're able to have henchmen. And that's basically it for this type of high ranking. Now our next ranking will be Fedora. This Fedora only purpose is basically showing how many years you have inside the organization. In other words, this is for the old timer who passed probably to 5 or 10 years. And let's face it, being a villain, you're not gonna survive that long, so it makes sense to give you a pat in the back, like Congratulations, you lasted 5 years, you're still alive. And let's face it, that's sort of true, that's the whole point of the hat. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Now to the next ranking hat. Pig's Hat. Pig Hat is only for the members who have military power and authority. In other words, if you don't know anything else about Black Hat, that if you have this hat, you basically go to war or give you permission to go to war because you're high ranking. In other words, you have your own sort of military, you basically are in charge. And especially if a new customer came in and asked for an evasion help or a tech with a world type of position, you must now go and fight. That's basically what it means. Now, our next ranking will be a fist. This hat only allowed for only select few organization members. In other words, this is basically a 1-star general, in other words, of this sort of organization, but it also have more meaning to it because this is also the same hat we given first to a most infamous character, Maldonado. Then he went crazy. But once more, this is sort of vague. We don't know what kind of position or power it actually gives. The only thing you know is you are very high in ranking. And also give you more question why they give it to one now, someone who is a rookie. So that's sort of strange, but at the same time make you think what this actually is. All of that, let's go to the next ranking. The Boulder Hat. The person who have the Boulder Hat ranking basically means that the most honorable, and that in itself is self-explanatory, but at the same time asks some odd questions like what do you mean the most honorable, like the most horrible person, the most loyal? Really, we don't know. You basically go to your own imagination what it actually means, but at the same time ask another question, what else this Boulder Hat actually has, because the last one give you a lot of question what happened to Boulder now, and you drive yourself crazy what this one actually does to you. Honestly, we don't know. I'm just sort of speculating here. Now let's talk about the next ranking. A diminished top hat. Now this ranking the only members who has great power. Give her permission to make their own basically location for Black Hat organization. Basically you make another chain for Black Hat organization. That is basically your responsibility, including looking for more clients for Black Cat and maintaining the building where you made for Black Cats. Now there is the final hat called the Top Hat. This top hat allows you to have all access of the organization of Black Cat. This hat only given to the main leaders in charge of the organization Black Hat, only taking orders straight directly to Black Hat himself. Usually wearing this hat give you some beneficials. One of the beneficials is give you a piece of power of Black Hat. In other words, he give you sort of supernatural abilities close to Black Hat, but once more, just a little, not a lot, just enough to be more an edge to your next enemy. But other than that, that's what is the top ranking of Black Hat organization. Now, everything I talk about here in the rankings is sort of interesting. It's sort of kind of open your eyes. What kind of things actually can you do with this power nowadays? But I think one of the most fascinating things is that how Dr. Frost says in his Dimensions Diary that he has his own hat, but you don't really know why high-ranking hat he has. But when someone sort of question like why he doesn't wear it, well, it's sort of written here in the Dimensions Diary that it's sort of kind of out of date. That's the reason like no one really wears their hats. It's something just for show, but understand what top of ranking you really are. Of course, there are some members that do like wearing the hat or find the open of everyone, but of course the people who do wear their hats, they're pretty high ranking, they're pretty powerful. In fact, there's some characters in the Cartoon Network universe do wear top hats. And I think one of the biggest examples is Victor and Valentino main villain on season 3, Taz, that he is a member of Black Hat organization because supposedly, in theory, he's the one who called Black Hat for help to take care of his hero, the Squid Creature. But other than that, that just it's a theory, but at the same time sort of confirmed. But once more, take it however you want. But other than that, I just found this sort of fascinating. I don't know about you, what you felt about this. You feel this was interesting? You have your own theories? Tell me down below. Let me know. I really got nothing else to say. Just thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.